what he's
Chance the
referencing.
Yapper.
Probably, yeah. Chance the
Chance the
Yapper.
Yapper.
Chance the Yapper over here.
One, bro.
Ever.
Stop yapping.
D1.
What a-
Well, everybody, episode 1. We're here. We made it, guys. Come on
Yeah.
with it.
All right.
Episode 1, Hills Youth Podcast. Lots of work. I really quick want to shout out a couple people. Renato Lopez in the back. And then we got Bryce Sandoval also running around behind the scenes, making this happen. Video, audio, all that good stuff. But also, man, the host of the hour. Give it up for Zeke, everybody. Come on, give it up for Zeke. Zeke, that is short for Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes.
Okay.
It's also short for Zeke the Yapper. Remember? Remember that?
He's dropping it. It's a real deal. It's probably going to be labeled on the screen there.
Yeah.
If you look down
Just right there. Zeke the Yapper.
And then we got Graham. Guys, give it up for Graham,
Graham
everybody.
McLeod.
Oh, man.
I
Gotta
love
love this.
clapping for myself. That's my favorite thing to do.
He's very conceited, as you guys can tell, as you're getting to know our host. Graham, your middle name?
Lewis. C.S. Lewis. I don't want to
Really?
hear
Is it after
It's
C.S. Lewis?
actually after
Okay.
C.S. Lewis. So
Okay,
I don't
I
want to
like
hear
it.
your. I
I
don't want
like
to hear
it.
your disapproval, Chad.
I like it.
I
No,
can't
I-
take your negative energy right now.
There is no
Let's-
negative energy.
yeah, uh-huh.
It's all good,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
It's all good.
Why did I laugh when
I
you
got
said
some-
Lewis?
I got some problems with Chad.
Well,
now.
I was thinking of Lewis and Clark.
You would have
So,
thought.
like,
It doesn't match Graham. It has to be something.
I hear you.
Just
But
different.
C.S. Lewis, that's pretty good.
That's cool. He's Christian.
That's good.
Anyways, that's the team, and thank you guys for joining. Thanks for clicking play. This is exciting. We exist to make disciples, not just on Wednesday nights for middle school, and not just Sunday nights for high school, but we want to be able to have elements like a podcast. We want to be able to reach as many people as we can for Jesus. And, man, we're excited that we have the ability to do a podcast and have solid conversations and discussions on topics and have special guests like our special guest today. You may know him and you may not. And I want to go ahead, give you guys a couple minutes to get to know my friend, Chad Daniel Stotts, everybody.
Let's
Chad
go.
Daniel Stotts. Welcome
Thank-
to the pod.
Thanks for having me.
CDS
dude.
right here.
CDS.
I'm super excited. For me, being at Hills Youth this long, I've got to see a whole bunch of firsts, right? The first Rush Conference, the first time we split high school and middle school, the first time we did a United Night, all those things. So for me, to be on the first podcast is really cool and another benchmark that I'm excited.
I love that.
This is awesome.
You're an OG.
OG.
OG to Pinning Hills Student Ministry and Hills Youth. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
And man, we thankful. If this is okay to say and get emotional, Chad is my best friend.
Oh,
He's
best
my-
buddies.
He's gonna
best
cry.
buddies.
He's
Let's
gonna
go
cry.
pound
He's
it.
Watch
gonna
him.
cry.
See that
It's-
tear? I see
yeah.
the
Come
tear.
on, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's
thank
okay.
you.
Let it out.
It's okay.
Men
know-
are okay. It's okay to cry, man.
Jesus wept.
He did.
Shortest verse in the Bible. I like it.
Oh my
It is.
Hey,
is
I
it
know
not?
it. I know it.
But Chad, what are some interesting facts about you? 3 fun facts that won't get us kicked off the air.
Yeah, so we got to be careful with
Just
Chad.
don't let me speak, all right?
Got to be careful with Chad. So 3 fun facts. I am a high school Hills Group leader. I'm gonna say Hills Group. High school Hills Group leader
The best.
for boys at obviously Hills Youth.
He almost forgot.
No, I couldn't
He
forget.
almost
Right
forgot.
now, I feel like
Vaughn's sneak dissing right now.
my Hills Group is at the pinnacle I think it's at the highest it's ever been as far as participation and effort, group effort and individuals effort. So I'm pretty proud of where we're at there. If you don't know me, worship is a huge passion of mine. I lead worship for Hills Youth and for Hills Main Service, and also lead worship for Hills Kids. So you will see me here at this church leading worship somewhere from, I don't know, three to 4 times a week, if not more, for sure.
Greatest intern of all time.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I was
and
gonna say.
if we want to go
All
the third,
time.
if we want to go the third fun fact, I'm glad you brought that up, bro, because I am Vaughn's longest-lasting intern.
And there's been a few that didn't last.
The rest of them just left.
We've had a couple tail off and a couple that need paid to stay, but I just don't. I just love, a challenge.
And you love Jesus.
I love Jesus.
But he doesn't like Vaughn. That's the only reason why Chad's here is
that's-
because he loves Jesus.
Yeah.
He just doesn't love Vaughn.
That's not true. That's not true.
Zeke's already starting
You
a
said
problem.
it in
He is
life group.
like-
You said it in life group.
Chad,
That's a lie
you
from
were
What's a
here.
life
hell.
group?
Oh, sorry.
What's a life
Sorry,
group? I don't know what that is.
Chad, you were here
Yeah.
in spite of Vaughn.
Yeah.
That is.
What has happened?
Yep.
I am
Sneak
here.
dissing.
I am here because of Vaughn's excellent recruitment skills.
No.
Don't
That
you
is
forget
the most
it.
Don't even,
backhanded
bro.
Don't you
compliment
forget
of all
it.
time.
Here's how it went. I told him, sell me this pen.
Bro.
And then he's like, no. And I said, no, you need water. Sell me this glass of water, right? And
Yeah.
then that's as far as that one goes. So
I was
He had on
gonna say, is that a real story? Because I don't even remember that.
He had on
Is that
the-
real?
we've been through a lot. Late nights at Rush Conference, lots of stories there. But you gotta serve at Rush Conference to get those late night stories. But
Yeah.
Bryce is back here in the crisscross applesauce position, rocking a Zoa, and he's just saying, "Why can't you guys get started?"
Bro was munching,
So-
dude. Like, he was just grubbing. We started,
Wingstop.
and I see him grabbing Wingstop, and he's just...
Did you guys eat? You guys didn't even eat, did you?
No. Nah.
Oh, I ate.
G's trying to get shouted
I
out
ate before I
so
came here.
hard
Smart.
right now.
No
He's
one
doing
wants-
like a little dance with his Wingstop, like everything.
Here it is. Here it is, guys. So Easter's happened. Easter services were phenomenal. We're really excited about what God is doing and just being a part of Easter services. Celebrating baptisms is
Yeah.
incredible. Incredible. And
So many of them.
Chad, you crushed it with worship as usual, but you're doing it for God. I'm saying that God used you in
Yeah.
a great way. Okay. So,
I think that's actually a really important point. I mean, we take a lot of credit for a lot of things, but to make sure God's at the center of that credit is a really big deal. So yeah, I
love
appreciate
that.
you. I appreciate you
Absolutely.
throwing that in there.
Yeah, I got you. And in this kind of pushes us right into the. I'm excited to announce is that we are starting or adding a new worship song, and it's technically a feature, which we're gonna talk about in a minute. A feature, a worship song. Are they? What is? Are they? Is it worship if it's a feature? I don't know. We'll get to that in a minute. But the song is called Spitfire by the We Are One band, and I'm very excited. Our guest speaker at Rush Conference this year, John Rush, is friends with this youth ministry, and that's how I got to know this band, We Are One. We hope to have him on soon on the Hills Youth Podcast. But the song Spitfire is an incredible song, and I'm going to read a lyric here, Chad, and I just want you to kind of talk about why we're using the song, and it's great post-Easter.
Cool.
It says this: I'm a Spitfire with Holy Ghost lungs. I've got grave robbing power in my blood. Now that full fire in hell is on the run. Oh no, more messing around. Satan has lost its growl. Like, it was such a really good moment.
Growl.
I
But
had to.
that song has power to it. And
Yeah.
thinking what Jesus came and what he did and what he's still doing, why does this song, when we return back to youth, we're kicking off with this song. Why is this song so powerful to use as a kickoff for us to return post-Easter and really get excited about our relationship with Jesus?
Yeah, I think that. So I've been practicing the song for a while, right, and trying to not only get it processed lyrically and musically, but also emotionally, right? And so figure out these lyrics and what do they mean and where are they going? Because when we talk about introducing a worship song or a feature, which I guess we're going to get into here in a bit, but when we talk about introducing something, we have to decide, one, is it scriptural, right? And two, is it sending the right message? Worship's very specific as far as, I mean, that's praise to God, right? We are worshiping God, and so we have to make sure that these, when we're introducing these songs, that they meet that criteria.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who's we? Like, is there a selection committee? Like, what is the?
Good
What
question.
is that?
Good
what
question.
goes into that? You know what I mean?
So,
Who is
so
there?
Christy and I. So for youth, it's Christy and I and Vaughn often get together
When do
with
I get a
songs.
shot at this?
Well, Vaughn gets to. Vaughn gets to put in suggestions,
Vaughn,
and then
That's
and
all
then
he
it
can
gets
do.
to be in the room.
and then it gets vetted by Christy and I whether
Yeah.
we
He
find it
walked
to be.
by in the hall one time.
Throw something out there.
Yeah. So, but for main service, it's Rachel Corley, myself, and Scott Evers, the bass player,
Scotty.
the one with the blonde hair.
Scott.
Cool dude. So for that, it's those three, and for me, I really take. We don't do any songs outside of what Hills Main Worship does for kids. So those songs, there's nothing new there. So. But I get a lot of like Elijah type with when we start talking about fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I start thinking of Elijah against the priests of Baal, right? And I start thinking about when he called down the fires to burn up the sacrifice that they had covered in water.
Mm-hmm.
That was a raw demonstration of God's power, of God's presence. That literally turned everything on its lid, right? They rounded up all of the Baal priests and executed them right then and there in order to make that shift, to make that tide for Israel. And so I really, when I listen to this song, I get a lot of that, because when you're talking about Spitfire from Holy Ghost lungs, you know what I mean? It's that power is within us. When you accept Jesus as your Savior, and the Bible says that the Holy Spirit enters you, that power is within you. What you do with it, how you, and command is the wrong word, but how you utilize it is up to you. You can do a couple of things. You can kick back, you can chill, you can tell people the good news of Jesus, or really, you can stand up for what you believe in. You can speak truth. And we had a small conversation about this in Life Group.
Yeah.
Hills Group. And it...
Why do we have to brand that name, man? No,
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Vaughn.
But
Come on, Vaughn.
But what we can do is we can take that and really start standing up for God, for what God says is right. You know, and I hate to get into huge shifts, but you know, when somebody in your school is defending gay marriage, let's just say gay marriage.
We're going straight into it.
Well, I think that's the only way to do it, because
Yeah.
that's the truth, right?
That's the truth,
You
yeah.
can stand up and you can speak for what Jesus says, and you can really dive in there, or you can be passive about it. So when I hear this, and I hear all of the song referring to how it's pushing back the devil's narrative, pushing back what he has for this world, that's what I think of. That's what I dig into when I hear those lyrics.
This ties into it. I'm locked and loaded. It's open season now.
Yeah.
Come on, that hits home
Yep.
for you.
Yeah,
That's
for
like-
sure.
And I really think that's powerful, because I really think a lot of time when you think of worship songs, it puts you in the presence of the Lord. You're worshiping God. Every song that we do in worship, when we say song, sometimes I don't like even using the word song, but we're raising our voice to Jesus, giving Him praise. But with this one, and no offense by any means to We Are One Band, we're using it as a feature because I think it's an anthem song for us. It's an anthem where we want to be like, we want to. We're setting the tone for the youth ministry within, and prayerfully using the lyrics to this worship song, praising God what He's doing and going to do through us. And is that kind of like what a feature is? It's kind of setting a tone.
I like to think of features as thinker songs.
Ooh.
So when you're doing a feature, you're asking. So worship and praise music should be from here to Jesus, from yourself to God. That's your praise and worship. These features are thinker songs, so it's from the song inward. Like, this is a challenge for you. This is your thought process. So when you're going through a feature, that's how I think of them. So it's not so much a worship song, a worship set. That's participation based. So a feature is not that. A feature is supposed to be challenging, and it's supposed to be guiding. My grandpa, he was a preacher, and he lived his whole life. And I actually, my mom is converting a bunch of his old sermons off of cassette to USB and things of that nature.
Pause.
Right
Graham
now.
cassette. You guys good over here? Eyes got big.
Are you?
Once I heard USB, actually, I was USB-C, USB-A, USB-B. Like,
We're titling this the cassette.
The cassette.
The
So
cassette.
once and converting those some of his old sermons to cassette. And when I say he was a powerful speaker, you guys will get to hear some before it's all over. He's a powerful speaker, but he often said, a lot of these old songs can say more than any sermon I could ever preach. And so I feel like there's a reason that David used music to calm Saul when the Holy Spirit had left Saul and Saul was unconsolable. And music is something that God has given us to tap into emotions
Yup.
and to help facilitate that spirit of worship.
Man, and it should be vocal throughout our whole life. And I think people get lost that worship isn't just a thing you collectively do in worship service.
Yeah.
Worship is active. It's an active response.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way of putting it, and I love that. Graham, when it comes to worship in a song like Spitfire, what excites you about having Spitfire set the tone? Or in Zeke, you can even put into this, but as the youth, you guys as the core, what is Spitfire, do you feel, going to do for the ministry? Why it's important to kick off with it?
You know, I think that having a strong, because a lot of times we'll have worship sets to where we have 2 songs that are really strong, but sometimes they're the last 2. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna insult any of our amazing songs because all of them are awesome. But when we have energy songs like Spitfire that we can kind of drive in, it sets the tone for connection. And I think that's what worship is, right? It's to connect. It's to connect with our Savior, our God, and the only reason why any of us are okay, any of us are consoled, any of us are forgiven, all this stuff, right? So we have a God that loves us and is holy and died for us. And so we have to, our whole thing is a relationship, right? If we're not connecting, man, it's like me and Vaughn's relationship where I see him, once a week and it's like, oh, what's up? And that's it. I'm just playing. But, no, if all it is it's hey, doing good. That's not a connection.
Yeah.
I'm not building trust. I'm not building a foundation on Christ. And so it starts with those little details in worship. And I'm super excited about Spitfire because it's going to set that tone, those little details, and allow us to kind of come to a point of reconciliation and connection with God.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's go. I love that. And, man, I'm excited about it. Spitfire, kicking off the return of youth, off the remembrance that, man, Jesus died for us, rose from the dead. And that power, when you accept Jesus and you confess with your mouth that he is Lord, Scripture says, that power is inside of you, and he's working through you to give him the glory. And such a beautiful thing, and the fact that we get to continue the celebration, in which we should, every day should be a celebration, remembering that, but it's such a great reminder. So,
good music, too. I mean, I think that good music attracts people, and so if you can use good music to help newcomers feel comfortable and engaged in any way, I think that helps.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
That connection's big. So I want you guys to make sure to add Spitfire to your playlists. But talking about connection and knowing that new people are coming into the church and learning about Jesus, I want to add this note. We live in this world where I think there's a lot of Christian movies, Christian content that's just not engaging. And I say that it's like engaging because of the perspective of the people you're reaching, which is great, which you should. You should just connect with the people in your community and know them well. But there's also this sense of man, when new people come, they don't know. And so we talk to people or preach to people or preach at people that don't understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Like even we say this, everyone knows about Jonah. And so preachers say, well, y'all know the story about Jonah, right? You could do that at a leadership conference, but when we say, when we're skimming through certain parts, go, you guys know about Jonah, so we're just going to skip to this. Some kids
they don't.
I don't. And
Yeah.
so we have to realize that. So how can we bring someone and relate? Having a podcast, and people ask, "What, do you guys have podcasts? Do you guys do these things?" And my biggest setback, and I'll be honest, is if we're gonna do it, I want to do it right. And if we're gonna do something, I want to throw it together and then give you guys one episode and be like, it's done. But
Yeah.
what you're seeing is Chad Daniel Stotts has been all about wanting a podcast for a long time, and he's been throwing it out there.
We discussed it in our life group. We were like, we should all do a
Yeah.
podcast. And then out of the blue, you're like, hey, we're doing a podcast.
And I think it just takes
I
it
want you, and you.
getting the right people,
Yeah.
one, and getting you guys excited, because it
Yep.
could be like Vaughn and Chad are excited about it, but man, that's not going to go. What's going to
Right.
go is you guys connecting with people and wanting it, and
Yeah.
you guys have wanted it and put in the work. Bryce G have put in the work to show
Yeah.
up and spend hours doing this. So
It's that flame. It's
Yeah.
that flame in you. It's that motivation. And that's why I like the song Spitfire. It's like
Ooh.
it pumps you up. It's like there's worship songs that you just like sing to, go with the flow, and then there's some where you're just dancing, you're singing, you're throwing your hands
Right.
up.
And you
that's
and you
I
become
like it.
vulnerable and connect. That's my big thing.
Exactly. And doing a podcast is something that I've like I get that feeling, you know? And especially to do it for God, you know? And to try to like broadcast to the world about Jesus. It's like it's just reaching a bigger audience, and that's why I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I love it, and it's important. Like honestly, if you look at Bryce is like, man,
He's just chilling.
just
He's
just looking
vibing
at
out.
us. Like Bryce, you doing all right back there?
get some wings, bro. Like
I'm doing good. I'm excited to, be a part of the podcast. Get a producer and get to help out where I can. Eventually, take what I'm doing now and grow from it.
Let's go, Bryce.
I'm excited to have
go.
you on because that's gonna happen soon, bro. And you have a very a powerful way of conveying things. And I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see a lot of
Yeah.
your perspective on a lot of that.
I
Vaughn
don't
recently
know-
called you the greatest light technician he had ever worked with.
yes.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
But I'll take that.
I'll second it.
Compliment. I do lights every Wednesday for our middle school.
Woo!
It's something that I love to get to do. I get to work in the production booth with my two homies over there, Graham and Zeke. And I'm very lucky to have gotten to build a great relationship with those two. Even though obviously Zeke doesn't care as much as I do. He just-
Hey, I hope that we can hear Graham in here. But
You mean Bryce?
Bryce?
Is what you
Wow.
meant?
Graham? Sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, bro.
It's all
I'm sorry.
good. It's
I'm
all
He
sorry.
doesn't
good,
know
bro.
my name,
all
Chad. He
good.
doesn't know my name.
He
I'm
does.
so bad with
I'm all
names.
about, and so
Actually, he's the only name you know, apparently.
that's
Quite
why
the
they're sitting next to
contrary.
each other. But the thing is, I want to make this where it's like, man, you can put lipstick on a pig as much as you want to make it look good, but behind the scenes, we ain't gonna try to be perfect. We're gonna just try to do excellent and have good conversation, and that's why we have Chad here. And Chad, we're at the state of youth where, man, it's Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha is on.
Is that what this is?
This is
I
the
guess.
younger generation, Gen Alpha, man, and Gen
What?
Scare
Z,
me, but they're-
millennial, and
You had to throw a millennial in there because you're one. Vaughn.
had to.
Had to just get it in there. Just sneak it.
I
Gen
had
Z,
Technically,
millennial.
I'm a millennial too.
Yeah, really.
Technically,
I
yeah.
had to do it.
I'm
Chad
sorry.
is not emotionally
It's sad.
millennial though. You're not.
Yeah, Chad. I feel like I'm get Gen X vibes from you, man.
Yeah.
Like it's a.
No offense.
I'm
no
not
What is
saying-
offense,
that? What
Chad.
is that?
I want to. I'm
It's
not
some
saying.
generation.
Is that
I
an
don't know.
maturity.
insult?
It's maturity.
I thought
Did
it
he-
was.
Did
No,
he
it's
just
something.
insult?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying like you are a mature person.
Is that
compared to-
older? Is that older than Vaughn? Gen
Yes.
X.
Oh,
Okay,
has
I'll
to
take
be.
it. I'll take it then.
So, how's she doing? Getting static?
Yeah. So the beard. This thing like
It's
loves to
wisdom.
grab it
Have you named it
and
yet?
try. My beard?
Yeah.
No.
Solomon.
No.
Come
That's
on. Come
a
on.
great name.
Wisdom.
That's phenomenal. Wisdom, right there, bro.
Wisdom.
You have your name.
I did name my truck
right there.
though.
You got
What's
more
your truck's?
years.
Oh, hold up.
my new truck. I did name my
Hold
new
up.
truck.
What's your new truck's name?
This is big.
Gussie, the gas guzzling hussy.
It gets like better mileage than an average.
Gee, is that
Tundra too.
does that need to be edited, or are we good here, bro?
Nope.
My goodness, keeping
Keep it. Keep it.
Bro, back to what I was saying,
My
Chad.
bad.
Leave it in.
My bad.
See,
You
trying
got,
to get
more,
it back on.
you got more hair on your beard than the concubines that Solomon had.
Whoa,
So that's
I don't
wisdom.
even know how to take that.
Wow, he's just dropping scripture facts.
Dude, no, that I think
Theological.
it's, Solomon is a. What is Remington's truck name? Your old one. What's that?
You know, I don't know what he's gonna name that truck.
And why is it the gas guzzler if that Tundra
Oh, it eats it, bro.
It drinks it.
Eats it.
It consumes it.
It absolutely
It devours it.
It annihilates that 30-gallon tank.
Zeke is gonna be our podcast sermon illustrator, just adding these different.
I'm so like out of context.
What?
I'm just like
Zeke would be the perfect person, like if you're doing a freestyle, to give you like the adverbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's Zeke right now.
oh.
Annihilates. Yeah, that's Zeke.
Why in
He
the
just
world?
said adverbs.
Same thing.
You don't even
Same
know
shut
definition.
up.
Why in the world do a podcast? Why do we need that? Like, here's the thing. You could throw me on here and go like, all right, this is cool, but why is this even beneficial? And
Yeah.
I want this to be, I want to say this in the most negative content. Why are we doing this? Like, is this a waste of time?
Yes. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm just no, it's absolutely not a waste of time at all. I think the reason we're here right now is so we can reach people, man. Because look, I would not be alive without God, right? And so if you have people that never get the opportunity to see anything about it, right? You can't, like, when you're empty and you don't have anyone around you that knows God, you're just not going to go there. You're going to be missing something, but you do not know what you're missing, man. And so we have, like, this whole thing is to expose people. It's so they can figure out, oh, hey, maybe there's something with that Jesus thing. You know what I mean? And if I didn't have that, if I didn't have at the time PHSM, man, I wouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
I would be
Pennington Student Ministry. Yeah.
Yeah, PHSM. But no, I think it's incredibly important. We have to be able to reach a lot of people, right? Our services, Wednesday, Sunday, 6 p.m., 8:30 p.m. Don't be there. Our services,
Be there or be square.
yeah, facts. No, our services
Preach.
are absolutely phenomenal when you're trying to grow and you're trying to be there. But when you're just trying to get exposed, that's where we come in, man. And so those at home who don't know Jesus, I'm telling you, man, I'm like, I don't know how to say it. And I know a lot of people who, think that they know the religion thing. It's not for them. It's not a religion. That's the point. It's a relationship. And when you're missing something, because I know you are, just think about it. That's all I ask, man. So that's why we're doing this.
Come on.
Chad, why are you here?
I was fixing to ask Zeke why he was here.
Okay. You want me to go on?
I'll let you go first.
Does
You
he
go
know?
first.
Does
You go
Zeke
first.
know why he's
I
here?
think he absolutely
I don't
Zeke
knows.
know.
just showed up. We invited
No,
him. There was
wings.
Wingstop, so he was like, all right.
I think no, we're in a spiritual battle right now, and it's the most. I don't know. It's just the most craziest it's been in a long time, and we're just trying to, there's 5 branches of the military, okay, and they're in different land, air, and sea. There's
Can't forget
people,
space,
there's people
bro.
knocking doors, right? But we're over here trying to reach the internet, which is so sinful. Every time you scroll through Instagram, you see something secular. Every time you scroll through, and we've got to fight that,
Yeah, I
And
think
that's why I wanted to do this.
I mean, yeah, this is war against that stuff, man.
Exactly.
Because the internet has caused 22% of all human beings on Earth to have a porn addiction, man. Comes from the internet. Before you had to go pay for magazines and all that stuff. Now if you pay for porn, you're an idiot.
And
Probably
that's hard to
shouldn't leave
do,
that in,
right?
but,
Wouldn't that be a lot harder
right.
than going on to Safari,
Right, you know what I mean? So you got to go to the store. Now all it is, it's a one click away from completely unraveling your life.
Not only one click away, but it's being shoved in your face.
Right,
Yes.
then that's
Every
100%
second.
true. That's 100% true,
and
man.
it's okay, right?
Right, and and they start with the stuff, right? Instagram, they don't allow any explicit content, but look at the models, bro. Look at the models.
Just go on IG.
You know what I mean? And I think that it's the consumer and those who are producing the content, they're also doing it to feel something, man.
Mm-hmm.
To fill this hole, like I was talking about earlier, that comes from God, right? I guarantee if you don't know God, there's something missing, man. You're not living, I guarantee it. You might not know what it is, but you can feel it, right? And so that's where I think a lot of this sin comes from, to try to fill this void. And so, the internet is easy to access, and all that stuff. So I want to jump in, and I want to create a form that not only can you see the sinful, but you can see the good on here, man. Because if we just the internet's evil, let's never mess with that. You know what I mean? All that stuff. And the same reason why, churches who, I'm not going to condemn any doctrine, but like think rap is evil, all rap is automatically evil, or all rock is automatically evil, are missing the point, because we have a lot of Christian rappers and Christian rock bands that are doing a lot of good in those departments. And so that's what I'm trying to do here.
We've got Scott Evers, man.
Scott Evers, what a goat. What a goat. But
See him
yeah.
at worship, he's just like, what do you call it?
His guitar changes sounds every time he plays
Like
it.
Yeah.
Scott's a cool dude.
He
Oh,
is.
Like
yeah.
that, and that's a cool story. That'll be a cool interview for you guys somewhere down the road.
Oh.
That'll be cool.
It's a good one.
I think it needs to be a challenge for me where I sit, and a lot of my viewpoint is from the outside looking in, right? Vaughn, what is this? Is this year 6? Are we getting ready to round year 6?
Yes, sir.
So for
Oh my
6
gosh,
years,
you guys are old.
I've seen it. I mean, we've literally seen, freshmen graduate and leave.
Yep.
And right now, you're seeing a growth, right?
Yeah.
Hills in general is on an uptick, and there's only one reason for that. One is God's divine work, right? That's the
Right.
main reason. But
Yes, sir.
2 is
So there's two
y'all's involvement,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so my challenge to the people listening to the podcast, right? So the podcast is hard to put together, and to, man, you're going to get on here and you're going to try, and you desperately want to sound cool, and you desperately want to make a good impression, right? Just like anything you do, you want to try and do it with excellence. And you want to, there's a deep down part of you that you fight to be admired and to be looked at and to be quote unquote idolized. So as for you guys, my challenge would be to tame that and make sure we're following God's will for the podcast. Make sure we're putting out what's true and not what looks pretty all the time, right? And then for the kids watching or people watching, if you want it to grow and if you want people to be invested, you have to share it, right?
Yeah.
The reason we're growing is because people are sharing it. They're saying, "Hey, it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with Vaughn. It has to do with kids are being welcoming when others walk in the door.
Yep.
They're being we have kind of a newer guy in our group, and I won't mention any names, but his faith is fairly new. And my boys have been nothing but supportive and welcoming to him.
And understanding.
And in understanding, encouraging. That's what this needs to be. And so I feel like if the people watching this will share and just say, hey, check this out. This is what it's like, to give them a taste. Maybe somebody out there won't be so scared to step in the door.
That's so good. That's so good. That's really the whole point of bringing what you see physically onto social media, onto the outlets, because literally leaving someone on red is like someone coming up to you, say hi, and you just turning your back on them and walking away.
And Vaughn does it all the time. I'm
Ser-
kidding.
Yeah, that's facts. No, that's
Gosh,
facts.
this is-
We need to shame this dude. We need to shame him.
Too
He's
bad.
a busy man, dude.
I'm woke. You can't shame me. But
Vaughn
You woke,
thinks
then
he's in
wake
a
up.
mega church right
So-
now.
But you
He's
just
like,
kiss and make up,
what?
even with the bitter cup.
I don't know what that means.
It's gonna be our slogan for the
I
podcast.
don't know what that means.
I love
That's
that
Kanye.
because what I do want to encourage is this is being done by youth and it's for the youth, and eventually you're not sharing it because and again, you guys are on here, so people are gonna watch it. They're gonna be engaged with it. They love Chad. But the thing is, and I see this with Paul all the time, and I've been talking about Paul a lot lately in Philippians, is we don't face persecution like we read in the Bible, and y'all should take a deep breath and realize you're thankful for that you
Yeah.
probably ain't
Yeah.
going to be put on a cross or upside down or
Stoned.
head cut off, stoned. Like, you're not going to, but people are going to, and I was talking about the message, I'm like, if the worst thing ever is for people to say names to you or to use their words, be thankful. And the persecution that you're going to face is you not wanting to share. And I'm not saying share this podcast or else, but I'm saying like you sharing quality content or what God is going to use through this. You by not saying share, is you're facing persecution because it's that battle of like, if I share this, like it's going to kill my vibe on my story or my wherever I'm posting stuff, it's going to take off the look. But is the gospel not big enough to really prove what you're doing to be right and for it to be worthwhile for your posting it, for someone to see and click play? One, doesn't matter if you have 200, 300 clicks on it, but one person's going to click this and go, man, I'm going to follow because I enjoy seeing what this is about. And that's why we have video and audio versions of this. And that's why we have you, Chad, because you've had the ability over time to connect with this group of kids, youth, excuse me, sorry.
Gosh.
I know, my bad, dude, right? You guys can watch
You're
PG
like a
movies
super
now.
senior,
I
bro.
forgot.
You're like a super senior, Vaughn.
Literally, I have a past. I did do, I was held back, but we're going to talk about that later.
Where my hug at? Where my hug at?
What does that mean? What are you referencing?
Where my hug at?
I know exactly.
Whatever.
The thing is, you've had this group for so long, and they've been consistent.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have to do with the group that you can encourage people with viewing a podcast, and everyone's going to want to, like, be a part of it, which is awesome. But what did you have to give to your group to be consistent and to eventually, when a new kid comes, to love on them and not shame them if they're saying something where it's like, well, I don't really believe in this God thing, but I'm here checking out, and now everyone jumps on like, bro, what's your problem? How did you?
What's wrong with you,
them?
bro?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. It took years, and I don't know if you remember this, but I used to come to Vaughn quite often with struggles. Like, I don't know what to do, dude. Like, they're not listening to me. Like, nothing I said. I feel like I'm just preaching the whole time. Like, being a leader in a group was a challenge for a while. So
People will be shocked to hear that.
yeah, I think that if other leaders are listening, that should be an encouraging point, because it doesn't just happen overnight. It's effort, right?
Yeah.
The effort's all that matters. And so for starters, you have to set a precedent that we are all sinners, and everybody. The Bible says we've all fallen short of the glory of God, and so that doesn't change in this room, and that doesn't change with how many years you've went to Hills Youth. That doesn't change how many years you've accepted Jesus into your life. That's a given. That's a constant.
Absolutely.
And so when guys come into the group, you start facilitating this environment of, let's cut the crap, which is really hard to do. Let's cut the crap, and let's start being honest about porn addictions. Let's start being honest about drinking problems. Let's start being honest about, dude, I'm so depressed, I feel empty right now. Let's start being honest. And I think it's just really about caring about individuals.
Yeah.
Once these kids can sense that I love you, and Jesus does too, and I care about you, and I want what's best for you, no judgment. That's the whole deal, right? And you're not there to preach at them. You're not there to change their life. You're there to hear them, and where they want your input, you're there to offer it and be there for them.
Yeah.
But you have to do it without judgment, because at the end of the day, you're no better than them. In fact, when I was your guys' age, I was worse off.
That is a phenomenal way to put it. I think Christians can be the most judgmental group, man. I've been judged by Christians, by people who are supposed to be besides me and supporting me more than anyone else.
And I think changing it from the word religion to relationship with Christ kind of helps us to like take that out of the picture, take that judgmental. It's like, hey, I understand what you're going through. Let me help you through it.
Yeah.
And judgment still exists. I mean, you should.
Yeah, we all do it every
you
day.
should see it from main stage. Like when I'm doing youth worship, and this is a for reals.
Heather.
You're jumping
Sorry.
up.
What?
Shout out,
we
Heather.
got some
Hey,
disses.
listen. Heather's. I don't even know. Heather's my favorite. I don't know.
Heather, I
like,
hope you get senior side.
Heather
don't know
is the
what-
best.
I don't know
No,
what she
she's gonna
saw.
win, dude. The pot is like $500 right now. She's gonna win.
No, she won't, because she won't put on her goggles, bro.
She has them on at the gym. She's bench pressing with the goggles on her eyes, dude. She's about that life.
Bryce,
Like,
throw up
she
someone
is-
with goggles on.
I have no
She's straight
idea what we're
thugging it, bro.
talking about
Sorry,
right
yeah,
now.
sorry,
Like,
I
I'm
derailed
so
that. My
confused.
bad.
So, where was I even
God,
going?
like, she is like.
You talk about judgment from
yeah.
stage.
Okay,
From worse.
okay. This is what my
Thanks,
life
Vaughn.
group is like.
She's straight
actually,
thugging it, bro.
Actually, this is what my life
Her
group
pants
is
are like sagging.
So what do you
at
do in
this
this moment,
point, bro?
What do you do?
Take
First
control,
of all, I
Vaughn. Take
blame you
control.
because you're the one that said Heather. So really, this
Yeah,
is your
like,
fault.
she's gonna be so
Leadership
mad at
moment.
me.
This
She
is
She's
won't
gonna be
be.
like,
She
"Oh
won't
my
be.
gosh,
She
you
won't
guys
be.
brought up my name."
She won't
I'm
be.
gonna be like,
she won't
"Well,
be. I'll ask for forgiveness.
They don't
for
deserve
you,
you, bro.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. From standing on stage doing worship as an older gentleman is what I'll classify myself as. When you're jumping around and sweating bullets, which is what I do,
every day."
I think I have a glandular issue. It won't stop. Like I just sweat all the time.
Sweaty
but
man.
but
You look like
there
Heather's
are
opponents.
Listen, I see kids all the time, and I can see the judgment from stage. I can see the judgment, and I
Yeah.
can see them like, oh my gosh, look at this old dude, and look at this crazy guy.
This is
and,
weird. Everybody's putting their hands up. Why?
And I see the judgment just based off of me alone. Like
Yeah.
I realize that sometimes my my personality doesn't land with the hip youth culture. Like, and I think that that's just like kids that view themselves as especially cool. Like, I don't really fit that category, right? And so I see that judgment, but really once you just move past, it's really not about any of that. It's about you doing your job and serving the Lord and worshiping God.
Yep.
Anything is possible. So once kids realize that what other kids think and what everybody else around you thinks doesn't matter, you're living for the audience of one. You're there for one view and one view only, one like and one like
Come
only.
on, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Once you realize that, man, your whole life changes because you don't care what happens. They can laugh at you. They can persecute you, right? You're talking about being stoned. Paul didn't care. Throw me in jail. Shackle me up, right? He's getting ready to die. 2 Timothy, he writes 2 Timothy, 4 chapters of 2 Timothy. He writes them from jail to Timothy, and he basically says, hey, listen, I'm going to die. They've got me locked up this time, and this time they're going to kill me. So here's my last will and testament for you. It's not a whine. If you read 2 Timothy, there's no whining in there. There's no crying. There is literally Spitfire coming out of Paul, headed in to Timothy. He's saying, you go get them until they get you, right? You go until your race is over. My race is done right here, but you need to go until your race is over. So once we realized to take ownership of our race, I mean, there was a kid just Sunday. I saw a kid kind of by himself, kind of hanging out, and I saw a guy from my group split off from, and this is a really popular kid, right? He could hang out with whomever he wants, and he splits off, and he's hanging out with this kid alone. And that's what it's about. That kind of connection, that kind of run the race, take it serious is what it's all about. And so I'm super excited. I hope this gets that kind of projection behind it.
None of it's that serious until you're in hell, right?
Right, yeah.
Until you
Until
look,
it's over.
Until you
Yeah.
look back and realize how much more you could have done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna confess. So, this is how I know that worship works. Ever since I've got here, like, I haven't worshipped. Like, I've just, like, never really read the lyrics or anything. I just stood there. But, like, last Rush conference, like, I threw my hands up for the first time, and I've been
Yeah.
a Christian all my life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I threw my hands up. I was like, I don't care.
Surrender.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I used to think it was kind of weird to throw your hands up, but I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Full send it. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and it's your, like you said, surrender, right?
Yeah.
That's it, right? Because when
it's
you
not
were,
about me. It's about him.
right,
Yeah.
right. When you're, when you don't care about the judgment,
Yeah.
and that's where it needs to be at, right? You're surrendering, because that's the only thing you're focusing on
Yeah.
is God, not the people around you think you're weird. No, screw them. You know what I mean? I don't
And
know
that's
if I
what
can
we
say
were
that,
talking
but,
about earlier. Like, we're
I
gonna
don't
get
care.
we're gonna get persecuted.
Right. I don't care. It's going to be,
Yeah.
they can judge me, they can do whatever, but I'm gonna have my heart on the line. I'm gonna show where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting there in the corner.
The thing of it is, we could do this, and this is the high accountability. What I want to keep our youth even in the back and in the host. And Chad knows this. There's high accountability with us too, because we're gonna say all this stuff on here, but then you guys are gonna be looking now at Zeke and Graham and everybody now in worship, and it's not to be fake, but it's call leaders higher. We're saying now, like, we're calling ourselves higher. Say we're gonna talk it. We gotta walk it.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna be perfect, but that's why we got Chad here. He's not a perfect man, but you're gonna get Chad, and you're gonna see God through Chad because he's being him, and you're gonna see God through his words because of his prayer life. And what podcast you listen to, Chad? And maybe not even a biblical podcast, but like, give me a podcast that you listen to.
Sure. This is so my favorite one is a podcast called Bear Grease.
Exactly. So what you're getting from Chad is Bear Grease.
That is the most Chad Daniel Stotts thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Couldn't get more CDS.
What intrigues you about Bear Grease?
So Bear Grease is a documentary style podcast.
Whoa.
And it basically runs through all things heritage revolving around the outdoors. Clay Newcomb is the guy that brings that podcast to life, and great storyteller. He's really good at digging up history and talking about things that are wild in wild places. And of course that resonates to me, being an outdoorsman, a hunter, fisher, all the things, trapper, and but he's a very forward-speaking Christian man. And so when I listen to Bear Grease, I know that I'm going to get content that I enjoy on a personal level.
That's okay.
And I'm going to get it in a clean manner that I don't have to worry about self-censoring. So when I go on to Netflix and my wife and I decide we're going to pick a show, I have to look up not only the rating, but I have to look up reviews about the show to make sure it's clean for my wife and I to intake, right? And so this is a podcast that has been vetted clean, and so I enjoy it because I know I can listen to it, and I know I don't have to have a reservation, and it lines up with my core values and my thought process when it comes to the outdoors and the world.
So you said it right there. There's a process that you take as a leader, too, that you want to enjoy things. You still want to take in things, enjoy and learn, but there's still a process where you don't have to learn from, man, there's the Jake Pauls of the world, the Logan Pauls, the Impulsive, and
Mike Tyson's going to knock him out.
Mike Tyson, and see, like,
I don't even know who Jake
Mike
Paul
Tyson's
is.
going to win. But
Bro,
No,
he's
he
60.
better win it,
He's
dude.
60.
So?
Mr. Tyson, if I'm wrong, please don't hurt me.
All right, but no, that's the
Bro.
thing is, like, in whatever you're watching, we're not condemning you by any means, but I'm just telling you from someone with wisdom that we trust. And first episode, it's a big deal. We put someone on that we trust and we know is going to bring it. There's a process that you should take. If we're going to say we're going to follow Jesus, and we talked about this in Message the Garden, where we if we're going to honor God well, it's got to be in all areas, and we can't hide a certain thing that we're watching and viewing and put it on private and do private internet browsing, because that means you're hiding from something. That's Adam and Eve, hiding from your sin.
Yep.
He's going to put you in the light. So, man, add this to the queue. Have this. And if you're watching something and, like, it is an impulsive podcast, but then afterwards watch something, let it convict your heart, go, maybe I need to listen to a little bit more of this, or find a church that you like listening to. If it's not Hills Church, go local churches in the area, or like there's talk to us and say what's some pastors or people that you listen to and watch. Don't just watch every preacher because they say they're a preacher. Yeah. But start adding things into your toolkit that you could grow and listen to, and you'll be surprised. There's people that are clean and they're good. And it is awesome content. But, Chad, I want you to sum this up. This podcast. I want you to give them wisdom. I want you to give us some wisdom.
Pluck a hair, Chad.
What a
Pluck a
challenge.
hair first.
I'm not plucking
Pluck a
it.
hair.
Give us wisdom.
Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
Do it.
wisdom.
So
Do it.
weird.
Do it.
This is the kind of thing that just,
Come on, Chad, please.
This is like,
Please.
we're off.
In the comments, should he pluck a hair from his
Should he pluck a hair? Yes or no?
Chat.
It's not even
Just
that big a
spam-
deal. There's
spam yeses in the chat.
Spam it. Spam it.
I
Let's
got
go.
two. I got
You got
two.
two.
So people watching see that
Sorry,
you found
sound guy.
it. You found
I did.
Somebody
Dibs.
sweep that up. Somebody
Dibs.
sweep that up.
That was a test. Gee, could you get on that? Just kidding. No, seriously. You showed everybody that you fall into temptation quickly. That was a test.
Yeah.
And you
You
did
did
it.
not
What's your
master
problem?
peer pressure.
I just want to be a leader, so it felt like a leader thing to do.
You did. because we can't. All right, go ahead, man. What you got?
Look ahead.
So I just want to encourage you guys, and I'm really thankful that there are youth in, and not just you guys, G and Bryce as well, for digging into this. I'm thankful that there are kids that are dedicated enough to start something new, right? And we can spend a lot of our time being complacent, and we could spend a lot of our time doing what we want to do. And listen, I've got hobbies just like everybody else, and I've got things that I love to do for me. But I think it's important that we make sure we're doing as much for Jesus as we do for us.
Yeah.
And so for you guys to lean in to start this thing, an incredible amount of work. I mean, I was here kind of on the latter end of the setup
Yeah, it was easy.
this evening. I mean, it's a lot of work. And so to do this consistently, I don't know how often y'all are planning on putting one out, but I just want to commend you for that. And I just want to invite kids to show up to Hills Youth. I mean, come out to Hills Youth. Come meet me. Come shake my hand. Come shake Vaughn's hand. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to engage with you in conversation, and we'd love to see you grow as an individual and see what God's will is for you, because everybody's got a different path that God's sending them down. And once you find that path, man, it's cool to see what kids are capable of.
Fun fact for the audience watching, if you buy a Jesus Has Risen with the Z's, Chad will autograph it.
Hey, listen! I'm telling you,
Chad will autograph
I think because I've started the
Wizard
whole
of Oz.
rollouts of the shirts, right? I've started the whole rollout of the shirts. I really think that we should do if you get an Instagram pic with Chad in the shirt, right, and you share it, then you go into some kind of drawing. I'll even sponsor the prize.
You know what?
I'll even sponsor
You know
the prize.
what?
I love it. I
That's
love the
brilliant.
idea.
I'll even sponsor the prize, and then that way we can get some shares and get the word out there, and it's easy for kids to do.
And you know what? We
There
can't
it
do
is.
this without you guys. Like, without you guys sharing and watching and just
we can do it, just nobody will
spread
listen.
no, we'll still do it. We'll still do it.
we're excited.
We can do it, just nobody will care.
But come on.
That's
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
That's a great way right there, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, EP1, baby.
Yeah.
So one.
Let's go.
I'll be expected. So let's say 50 and 100. I'm reserving my mark for 50 and 100.
50 and 100?
Fair?
Yep.
Fair? Episode 50, episode 100.
Yes.
Oh.
We're talking. Okay, I was
No,
like,
we're
hey,
going
50
out.
likes, shares for the.
No.
You're talking.
Episode 50.
Oh, I like this.
Episode 50, I'm back.
Yep.
And episode 100, I'm back.
Man,
That means we have to be on our game, okay?
they're
That's
going.
right.
I'm gonna be here. Probably still with a beard. You're gonna be in college. Graham might
Okay.
be dead. I don't know. It's, but hey, man, EP1.
Hey,
you heard
I'm
it here,
making it
though.
to 32. No more, no less. Okay.
He's gonna
That's
be a
my.
super
That's my.
senior.
Jesus life.
Okay.
All right, there it is,
Gonna
guys.
be a high school
Thanks for having me.
32,
Hey, let's
Zeke.
go. Love you,
Hills on
Chad.
three?
Later.
Hills on three?
Love you guys.
Hills on three. 1, 2, 3.
Hills.
Yeah.
That was awkward.